Hey guys, Peter, HVAC Greatness. Glad to have you back. This is going to be a little bit different. So let's have a little bit of fun, okay? And I'm going to try to use the virtual background. Actually, I'm not going to change it much because a big head's in the way and everything else. But I want to make a really interesting point using television, using a sitcom that was my favorite show back in the 70s. Now, stay tuned because this really does have an application to your business, your reputation, and to your success as a business in your local markets. Okay. So back in the day, and this is starting to reflect my age. If those of you remember this show, it's going to reflect on yours too. But I'm going to explain it for the sake of those of you who maybe haven't remembered this. There was a show that was called Three's Company, and I'm going to put it up on my virtual background here. And so what it was these three people, Jack, Chrissy, and Janet, and they lived together. And it was in California, and it was really controversial because guys and girls living together, that was a no-no, right? So Jack would pretend to be a homosexual, and it was just a whole thing for that time. It was really controversial and everything else. And I know things have changed, but that's not the point. The point is that it was entertaining. It was funny. And Jack Ripper, he's the son of Tex Ripper, right? He was the son of a famous actor, and he passed away not too terribly long ago, but he was hilarious. But anyway, so in this particular episode, there was a guy that came into their life, right? And he was everything that the girls goo over. And think about being attractive to a woman and being attractive to your customers in your market, right? Because they're not so different. Those of you who have heard me talk about this before. So this guy comes in and is impressing everybody. And I know Chrissy, she didn't get a good vibe on the very front end. When they shook hands, there was something that happened that she didn't like. But anyway, because he was a little bit flirty, but he was confident, all the things that women like, right? And so he was the total success. And Jack, our guy here, wherever he is, uh, it was messing with his confidence, his self confidence. And as they go through the whole episode, Hollywood being Hollywood, well, the guy ends up failing, the guy that was all flash. And they got to the end, and Chrissy here, now she played kind of the not so smart blonde, stereotypical back for that time. But in this particular episode, her wisdom came through. And she explained it to Jack. She says, Jack, let me tell you about that guy. That guy is all icing. He said, all icing. He said, yeah, he's all icing. It looks sweet and everything else looks attractive and it draws a lot of attention and people want to put their fingers in it, but he's just icing. She says, you're not all icing. She says, Jack, you are all cake. And so she knew this because she lived with him. She had a relationship with him. She had history with him. She knew him at his heart. And your customers who know you, they know that you're good, right? They know that you're not just icing, right? But what if people don't know you? Is that enough? You see what I'm saying? And so the idea was, do we continue to assume that people can see how great we are, how good we are, if we're just fake, right? Or do we need to put on a little icing? I thought I had an icing applying a cake here. I don't. It don't matter. So in Chrissy, her case, she saw right through that, and so on the show, fundamentally, what happened was the good guy wins in Hollywood. But in real life, how many of you know those companies out there that are all icing? They're all icing. They are all marketing. They're all sales. They really don't know the work like you do. They really don't deliver a product like you do. And unfortunately, just like back when you were in high school or college or trade school, you know, it just kind of wasn't fair. And the girl that you were crazy about went for the icing guy, right? You're like, you can see, guys know, right? We're in the locker room, we know each other, and we see this guy's a total idiot, but something about the way his face is structured, all of a sudden the girls are wooing over him. He's a total idiot or total moron or total low life or whatever he is. He's all icing with no substance. I think fundamentally we all know this, but you're going to have a little icing on your cake. Okay, you're going to have to do something that opens the door that allows these high end customers to come in and to experience your true substance, right? And to see what you're truly all about. So when it comes to our business, and hopefully this wasn't too boring, but I really wanted to make a point along those lines and just understand if I met you and I saw your work, I can see things because you and I have a similar background. I'm an old service technician. You're a technician or an installer or something in the field, and you understand the technical aspect. I do too. Your homeowner does not. Your equipment owner does not. They literally judge you on your appearance, on your professionalism, on the way you make them feel inside your icing. And based on that, they decide to move forward or not. And if you don't have any icing, you don't have any customers. You don't have anybody that's going to come in and give you a chance unless you give it enough time. If you've been in business for 40 years and you built your foundation on the cake, it took a long time. If you're trying to get there a little quicker without messing things up, you need that good cake. Right? You need that good foundation. You need a good processes, good service. You need to do really good work, but you're going to have to apply the icing. That means on your branding. That means on that customer experience from the time they call your office or they interact with your website, the time the technician pulls into the front of the house, that experience, opening of the door, going through the whole process, that homeowner to they need to experience their perspective on what good cake should look like. And that really is how you're packaged. That's your packaging. That's your branding. That's your professionalism. That's your caring, right? That's your vocabulary. That's all the things that you do outside of working on that equipment. It's these things that you do working on that customer. And it has nothing to do with superheat, subcooling, static pressure, temperature rise. Has nothing to do with that kind of stuff, right? So what we have to do is learn a new skill set, especially in these more sophisticated markets. Sorry for the detour, but yeah. Are you all cake? Oh, that was a good one. Ramsey HVAC greatness. Think about it.